And welcome into a new edition of Tech Talks presented by EGP Document Solutions. Thrilled to welcome on to Tech Talks high jumper for your Georgia Tech women's track and field team, senior Shanty Papakosta. Shanty, so great we can finally catch up with you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. And boy, we could take this entire interview listing your accomplishments for Georgia Tech. We'll start with this back-to-back ACC indoor high jump champion. What was that experience like going up to Boston a few weeks back and taking home that trophy? It's one thing to win it the first time, but when you know everybody else is gunning for that the second time around to still win it, that had to feel very special.
Yes, it definitely felt very special. I feel like Coach Page and I had that goal since last year to win. And then once we accomplished it, it was a matter of just keeping at it and doing what we, at this point, knew what we could do and executing what we've been working on. And I felt like the second time around, it was more about being in the right mind space. Because I guess the first time might have been a bit of a surprise, but then the second time we knew we could do that. We had worked for it. And so it was more about executing. And I feel like we did a pretty good job of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to see you on top of the podium. You came to Georgia Tech from Athens, Greece. Let's take it all the way back, Shanty. And when did you first discover you had talent in high jumping?
So I feel like I started high jumping pretty late. I think my first interaction with the sport was when I was 14, 15. Before that, I was really into dancing, and how it came along was my dad was also a high jumper, and he kind of was like, why don't you just try it? And I guess I was into trying things, and I tried it, and that first year it went really well. I won my age group national championship, and I guess being good at something is kind of a motivation at it. So that kind of started being more and more excited about it and training more and more for it. And then it opened doors like Georgia Tech for me. So
Your dad had a very keen sense of your talents there, and look at where you are now. As a senior at Georgia Tech, coming over from Athens, Greece, joining the Georgia Tech track and field program, how have you seen Georgia Tech shape who Shanty Papakosta has turned into now across all your years at Georgia Tech?
so that's a really nice question. I feel like a big part of who I am right now does come from being in this track team. For me personally, before that, I wasn't on a team. It was me, a 27-year-old, and a 36-year-old Olympian. So it was like a great group because I had really good people to look up to because they were great athletes who had everything figured out. But I never really like fell on the top of a hill next to someone and we're both dying over the same thing. Or I never was in a team where, people hold each other accountable and push each other. And I guess at some point you want to prove something to your teammates, like I guess it's easier to say I'm not going to practice today when you're by yourself. But when you know there's going to be other people there holding you accountable for that, I feel like that's a new sense. And there's been certain people on the team that have definitely helped me shape a mindset that's much stronger than before. And I feel like through Coach Page and those couple of teammates, I've kind of fell in love with the hard work. And I feel like that's been the biggest change in me, is kind of just wanting to grind. I didn't have that urge before. Before it just kind of came easy. And now I want to work for it because it just feels better when you do.
And clearly the hard work has paid off for you, Shanty. How much, now that we're moving into outdoor season, is winning the ACC high jump at outdoors part of your motivation? You've won 2 indoor high jump titles in the ACC. How much does that drive you going out to practice, going into the high jump? area every day over at the track facility, wanting to add that to your trophy collection?
So as you probably know, we're hosting ACCs this year.
Yeah.
Outdoor ACCs is gonna be on home turf, and I would be defending that medal again. So I I guess I gotta show up this time for real because it's on our own ground, and I'm hoping my dad can be here too. I think it's gonna be his first time watching me jump in a while, so that would be really exciting. I'm definitely very determined to get that medal this time because it's in Atlanta, and I guess you gotta do what you gotta do in the right time.
Oh, and that is what a great way to announce the Georgia Tech Fest, and make sure you come out in the beginning of May to ACC Outdoor Track and Field Championships here at Georgia Tech. Finally, we can address this, Shanty, coming from Athens, Greece. We all know this is an Olympic year. How much is that part of your goal setting and your training thought process, not only wanting to finish your Georgia Tech career on the highest of notes, but also to continue your preparation to represent your native country of Greece at the Paris Olympics and qualify for the Summer Olympics?
Yeah, well, definitely the Summer Olympics have been something that has been on the back of my mind for a while now. It's definitely creeping up on us. We definitely are doing the best we can to be in shape at the right time. I guess having to balance that out with the college season is a little harder because we have to peak at different times throughout the season. But we're just trying to get that mark and get that qualification. So just keep working and eyes on the long-term goal, and fingers crossed that things will work my way.
Well,
Yeah.
we look forward to seeing you fly over bars here and everywhere else around the ACC this outdoor season. Shanty, thanks so much for joining us here on Tech Talks presented by EGP Document Solutions. This is a treat for me for two reasons. Number one, I ran track as well. Secondly, we got a Papakosta and a Demetra, two Greek last names in our Tech Talks presented by EGP Document Solutions. Doesn't get any better than that. Shanty, thanks so much for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for having me.